All right, cool. We are live. What's up? What's going on, everyone? Hello, how's it going? Hi. Uh, Happy Thursday. Etsy Challenge crew here. We got Jay, we got D, and then we got RJ. What's up?
Hello.
um, Give it a few seconds. Let people hop on. Oh, we didn't actually. 1 second.
My internet's so clear today. I'm like, damn, I can actually see myself.
Yeah, what's going on? Yeah, crazy.
Hey, you just wait until, like 5 minutes from now, and all of a sudden it's going to be like pixel head.
Yeah. Is Dan not streaming right now? Is that maybe why?
Potentially. He's not home. He went out because he's having some trouble getting that transom out of the boat.
Oh, really?
Yeah, apparently it's like stuck. Apparently he's gone and he's done everything. Like, he found all these little screws. He took out every nail, and he just cannot get it out of the boat. And then he's honestly contemplating chiseling it out, but can't get it out. So basically he went over to the guy who he bought the boat from, and he's like going to see if he can recommend something.
Weird. Must be glued or something or riveted somewhere.
I thought so too, but he said he was able to get around the whole transom with like the chisel, and so if there was anything there, it shouldn't be there anymore. That's holding. So I said to him, it seems like maybe it swelled after it was put in the first time, but like water getting on it or something. I don't know. Yeah. And then it just kind of got stuck. So he might just have to chisel it
out. So the air's out over here. I think I've talked to you guys about it a little bit. It's like 88 degrees right now in here, sweating.
Yeah,
I was like sweat under my armpits. So, no, but yeah, they're supposed to fix it soon. They said they're supposed to be fixed by tomorrow, and then yesterday. By tomorrow, but yesterday it's supposed to be fixed, and today it's still not fixed. So
that's tough. That's a tough one. I feel for you because you're at least in a hot place. Here in Canada, it's like, oh, should we turn on the heat for tonight and then turn it off again for tomorrow?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I can't handle I love the heat, but only if I can get out of it and find shade, right? Like I can't be sitting in a room sweltering like that. Like I would go nuts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, for sure. The only thing the good thing is the ocean's like 10 minutes away, right? 5 minutes away. So I just go over there. After this, I'll go over there and jump in. So I think that's what we're gonna do. We'll go to the pool. The pools are open, but reservation only. So it can only allow yeah.
Makes sense. You should just go get a hose.
Yeah, man. Seriously.
And then just find a water source and stick the hose in. There you go.
Yeah, I'd be sitting with my feet in a bucket of ice or something.
I'd probably just be hanging it in front of the fridge. I'd be like, I don't even care how much money this is costing. Just get it right here. I'm nice and cool. The air is wafting me. Put a fan in there.
No, when we open the freezer, like, oh yeah. I remember as a kid, you put your head in there because you're so hot, just like. But you guys, have you guys always you guys of course always live in Canada, but has it always been how has it grown up? Hot, cold?
We have all 4 seasons.
Yeah, we got hot summers and cold winters. So hot, I mean, I don't know, it'll hit, what is that? Double it, I don't know, Celsius to Fahrenheit. Let me just do this. Celsius to Fahrenheit. Now I want to know. So if we hit 40 with Humidex, yeah, so it'll hit call it 30. So 86 feels like 104 with the humidity kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
That'll be the hot points in the summer.
Okay. So you guys got crazy, the different times of the year are crazy, huh? It goes real cold and then real hot. Yep. And that's weird. Interesting. That's pretty cool.
And then minus 15 winter, for example, or minus 20.
Interesting.
Is 68 degrees. Does that make sense?
No.
have no idea. You're dedefinitely asking the wrong person.
Oh,
If
no,
you're
I don't think
asking-
so.
Sorry,
that is
so,
not my
Yeah.
strong suit.
so it would be like -4 Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
-4 your degrees. So like mad cold.
Okay. Yeah. I'll say that's really cold. It gets like 50. I'm like cold already. 60. I'm cold.
50, that is 10 degrees for us, D, and 60 is 15. So it's like 15 out there right now, which is like 60 for you guys, and it's nice in the sun. I'm good with it still. Just out
Nice.
there. Yeah.
That's awesome. No, guys. Also, too, we're just chatting around, letting people get on. If you guys are hopping on, give this video a thumbs up. Say hello if you have any questions. We're gonna go straight. Give it probably like another 30 seconds. We'll get straight into the content. I think this is Dee's expertise when it comes to this. She loves to talk about this, and Jay too as well. Me, I like to just like think about like all this. This stuff's all crazy because I like to, as we're creating the content and stuff, making content for you guys. I'm actually listening and learning too, because I don't think you can never learn. Like you can always learn something new every single time we go over this stuff. And this is a perfect example like of the Etsy challenge, right? And you're learning something new every single time. So it's really cool. I see some people hopping on. Big time. Love RJ and the whole crew. Thanks for showing and showing the hustle, teaching us how to fish and stay safe. Remember to smile all day. AJ.
What's
Hi,
up?
AJ. Hi, Christine. What up, William? Hi, Michaela.
Cool. Wow. 80 is pretty warm here. 20. That's like 26, 27 degrees. That's like the perfect temperature if it's not too humid.
It's so true. So true. I keep my house at 68 degrees. I try to keep it at 68 all year round, so that in the winter, it doesn't feel too cold. It feels like cozy, like you get a nice blanket and you go. And then in the summer, it feels cold. Stacey likes to joke that our house is like the ice box. So when she comes over in the summertime, she has to put on like 17 layers.
I don't know. That's weird, right? Because like ours is at 67 to 68, 67 at night and 68 all day. So I don't.
Yeah. But she loves to be hot. You know, she loves her warmth.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a 68 type of person too.
Like 4 layers of onesies over at your house or on the way up or something, right?
Right.
I'm a 68 type of person too, but Jocelyn, she's like, I'm cold and put it up to 74, 75. Like, all right, I guess.
I can't do that. I need to sleep.
Had to be fair.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Excuse me. Whoa.
Today's topic on Etsy, high level branding and avatar.
Absolutely. So we're just going to hop right in. So basically, we're always talking about people. So like people ask us these questions and they say, well, what should I have, a branded store or like a general store? So like, it seems like there seems to be some misconception about like what branding is, because you can still have a brand and have a general store and have a brand and have a niche store. It's just all about what your area of focus is. So in one of the bonuses, actually, that I just finished putting the last finishing touches on tonight, you're going to learn, obviously, about the ideal customers and like how to figure out what your avatar is, or how to figure out who is the best customer for you to personally try to work with or attract. But even separately from that, when we get into the copywriting for those customers, I think those two bonuses are actually going to go really well hand in hand this year. Because ultimately, when you start to do some of the exercises that sometimes I know people will not do if they're just watching a course, they'll just kind of watch the course and then they won't actually go do the work after. But if you're starting to do some of those exercises, you start to really see the importance of understanding who it is that you're trying to reach, right? So when it comes down to branding, most people think it's just a logo or it's just the colors that you use on your logo or in your marketing. Some people think it's, just the mark that you're putting on whatever items that you sell, whether those are t-shirts, leggings, whatever. But the truth about branding is it all kind of stems or starts from who you're trying to reach in the marketplace, right? And so if you've ever Googled how to do a customer avatar, you see that most of the times what comes up are these worksheets where they ask you a bunch of questions. And usually like the freebies that you get online, usually those ones, they're rather limited. They're asking you things like demographics. So like how much money does this person make? What kind of job do they hold? Are they educated beyond high school or not? You know, what part of the country do they live in? And those sorts of things. And the reason that your customer avatar is asking you, like the workbook is asking you the sorts of things, is because it's trying to kind of understand who the target market is. Okay. So naturally, people who all grew up in Texas, in a small little town in Texas, I don't know of one, but let's say just a really tiny town in Texas, all those people generally adapt and like similar things. They have similar awareness of what happens around that small town, little events and things like that. And most of the time, like the hobbies are going to be similar. The thought process is going to be similar. The value system of the people who live there are going to be relatively similar, right? So if you were trying to target that one little pocket of Texas for maybe like proud to be Texan shirts or something, right? You'd have to kind of figure out, well, A, what are the things? Like, what are the things that these people have in common? What do they like? What do they share? What do they find funny? And then how can I resonate with some of those things, right? And that's basically what the customer avatar is trying to get you to think through. So what are the shared interests of the customers that you're trying to attract? Where do they spend most of their time, either on social media or like in real life? What kinds of careers do those people like? Because once you know those things, you learn a little bit about how to talk to those people, how to get those people to pay attention to you, and how to engage them, which is obviously super important when you're trying to sell products or you're trying to build a brand, right? After you kind of nailed that stuff, that's when you should be moving on to the actual branding elements of your business, right? So now you know exactly who you're trying to get in front of, you know where to find them, you know what words to say, and the things that they're going to find interesting or funny, or maybe you want to buy, what they're in market for, right? So then the second step is, okay, well, now you want to design your logo, you want to design your products, you want to design your branding package. So like if you're having a banner above your Etsy shop or something like that, you want to design all of those things with the one goal in mind of whatever you're designing being attractive to that customer, right? And I find that often people kind of get mistaken about this. They think, oh, I'm going to start with my logo, I'm going to start with my brand colors, I'm going to pick things that I like, and then I'm going to have my own store, right? But if you're doing it that way, you're kind of doing it backwards, because you're not building the store based on the interests of your potential customers. You're building the store based on what you like and what you want to put forward in the universe, right? So those are some misconceptions that we see a lot.
I was just going to say, it's funny because on that note, you see that a lot, right? People just are so attached to this. It's almost like this romanticism that they can't give up. Like they want to have their name in their business, or they want to have, a color that matters to them, or they combine names of their kids, in like 3 different chunks if there's 3 different kids. And sometimes it can work and come out with a really cool, a name or something. But it's also difficult sometimes for customers to understand what it is you're trying to sell or what you represent, right? So they might see, that name or logo or the colors that whatever it is, and then they might see your products, and then they understand what you're selling because of your products. But what does your branding have to do with that? What is your look, your feel? What kind of emotion are you, evoking with all that stuff, right? So.
That's exactly it. So when you really start to think about it, it's like it becomes this scenario where the steps become clear as you're going through your branding with time, essentially, with time and with understanding who the customers are that you're trying to get in front of. right? So a lot of people try to reverse engineer this. They start with an idea and they do their logo and they name their shop and they buy their domain and they get all of that stuff and they spend all of that money. And then they go into the marketplace with a store that doesn't actually sell very well because it's completely missed the mark for the customers that they were trying to attract, right? Other times what you'll see is, people start with all of those branding elements and then they don't understand after they've started to get customers how they would even start to attract like more of the same kinds of customers. So their sales are really kind of hit and miss, right? Like they'll get one here, one there, but they don't really know how to attract more people to get more shoppers, get more sales, and grow their brand, right? Because it's kind of like just a shot in the dark and they haven't started from the place of putting the customer first, right? So when you're looking at all of those things, it's really important to kind of make some distinctions, right? Like even with a general store, there should be some cohesion for that store's potential customers, right? So if your general store, let's say you are into hunting, fishing, outdoorsy stuff, right? So hunting is obviously one niche, fishing is one niche, maybe nature lovers or like hikers is one niche, camping people is a whole other niche, and then you've got boaters that are kind of in that overarching customer group, right? So if you're going to have a general store for like outdoors enthusiasts, naturally the customer is going to expect that you're going to have a whole bunch of different outdoor activities and products around those activities, right? Like it makes perfect sense. And you can brand that general store, Nature Lovers Paradise or something like this, because you have all of those things and they all make sense for the larger niche that you're trying to serve, right? That, in my opinion, is the best way to do a general store, right? Because there's some cohesion amongst the product lines. People who like outdoors in general will probably like more than one of the sub niches or the subcategories that you're making designs for. And generally speaking, when they're part of a niche that is surrounding a hobby or something that they like to do, they often know other people who are also part of that niche, right? So when you're branding, you're marketing, and you're putting some effort into ads and things like that, it's an easy demographic to kind of collect, target, and run an ad in front of, or like get interested in your product. However, if your general store has, shirts for teachers, shirts for moms, shirts for nurses, shirts for outdoor enthusiasts, maybe one shirt for punk rock lovers, and like 2 shirts for vegans, it's really challenging for you to present yourself as a brand, right? Because what is your store about really in that case? Yeah. Unless what you're doing is all of the designs in your store are a vintage inspired feel, and you're just kind of throwing up things that anybody could find funny, and it's a very distinctive vintage look that you're going with, maybe then you'll have some easier processing when it comes to like putting together a brand behind that vintage, maybe 1970s style thing, right? Mm-hmm. But if what you've done instead is you just kind of thrown up a bunch of different designs that don't relate to each other, there's no cohesion amongst even how those designs have been made aesthetically. Like, what are you really doing? Like, you're kind of trying to be the Walmart of Etsy, right?
Yeah, at that point, it almost kind of comes off as like spammy or something in a weird way, or like slimy or shady, right? It feels like you're almost like an imposter that way, right? Sometimes, so. Even if you're not intending to, people may not buy into what you're selling because they don't believe that you are genuinely believing in the stuff yourself, right? If you're not, you don't want to be, like, to Dee's point, selling like a vegan shirt if you're selling hunting stuff in the same end. It's just going to create a bit of conflict, and like, where's the trust level? So vegans, for example, who would be proud about the ethical treatment of animals and that sort of thing, would typically be against a lot of the hunting, right? So like, if they're going to buy into what you're selling, and then you go over here and they want to feel good about this, right? And this goes with anything, not just with vegans, obviously, but they want to feel good and proud, that they want to feel good about the purchase. They want to be proud to wear what you're selling. They want to believe that you believe what you're selling is for the same reasons they want to buy it. And then you scroll down and then you find something that is the complete opposite, and it totally discredits you, and you'll never get that customer back again, right? And the next thing is that they're gonna go and tell everybody, like, yeah, no, I look at these shirts I was wearing like garbage now, because it totally contradicts what you were trying to do, right? It's the opposite of building that brand. Or yeah.
No, also, do you like when you guys are like going out places and you see like a new store or something, or a new shop open up like in town, you like look at the branding and you're like looking at the stuff. I'm like, and you ask yourself why this color, why this logo, why this, how come this, and then you're like you look at the backstory and you're like, oh, this is pretty cool, like how they started and how they got to do all this stuff, and then like who's their target customer by looking at like the first 2 descriptions of their bio on their website or whatever the heck it is, right? Then you get an understanding of like, okay, this is what this company does, and this obviously I'm pretty sure this is their target audience. As you start to get smarter at this stuff and understanding it more, right?
Absolutely. And I think that's the thing. It's like, I think we often make things more challenging for ourselves than they actually are in the end, right? So like, because branding is relatively nuanced, a lot of people make it out to be so challenging or difficult, or like fully just kind of miss the mark of fully understanding it. And literally all you're doing when you're branding is trying to be attractive to the customer group that you're trying to get in front of. It's just that simple. So if, like for instance, if you're trying to attract a refined audience, right? Like somebody who's super intelligent, maybe sophisticated, elegant, wears designer fashion or whatever, you're traditionally not going to have a logo that's a cartoon font, right? Like the two things just don't go together. Or if you're trying to attract an audience of moms, traditionally you're not going to have like every shirt in your store be something that's like got swear words all over it, right? So it's like, I'm making these like obvious examples because it's a clearer pathway for you to see, okay, yeah, like that doesn't make sense. But people don't extend that kind of thinking into the brands that they're trying to create when it comes to actually creating a shop on Etsy or anywhere else, right? Mm-hmm. Instead, they just kind of lead with what they think, when there's really simple ways to actually figure it out so that right? Mm-hmm. And so that's basically what customer avatars are designed to kind of help you figure out, right? Like they're designed to help you figure out who the best customer is for you, and and what they like, how they speak, what they find funny, all of those sorts of things, so that you can start to attract them through the content that you're either posting on social media, the designs that you have on products in your store, all of that other kind of stuff. And so actually, like kind of bringing this back to one of the bonuses, in the copywriting bonus, like we give you examples of how you can actually start to build those kinds of relationships, or start to really understand how the words you use impact like how your brand is perceived, right? So we have this, like it was a PDF last year, but this year it's actually like a mini video course where we take you through all of the different sections in somebody's Etsy shop, and we kind of deconstruct like what they have on their about page, what they have in their announcement section, what they say about themselves in their shop, and like whether that makes sense for the kinds of things that they're actually selling, right? And so there's a whole bunch of examples in this year's bonus, the copywriting bonus, for you guys to be able to click through afterwards and spend a little bit more time really kind of understanding the variances or the nuances. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, it's really just as simple as like just being around who you're trying to attract. So if you're not part of a specific niche, so like, let's say I don't love fishing, okay? But Jay and my husband, Dan, avid fisherman, loves fishing, right? So I know nothing about fishing at all because that's how little I love fishing. Like I know there's certain like bait casters, and I hear all these words that my husband says all the time. And he's got like 17 different rods for different kinds of fish and different baits and all this kind of stuff. But that's like pretty much my limited knowledge of fishing. So if I don't know anything about fishing, but I want to have a t-shirt shop on Etsy that targets fishermen, naturally, what am I going to do? I'm going to go find some groups. I'm going to go watch some YouTube videos. I'm going to go do some research to figure out, oh, like, so where do fishermen hang out online? Where do fishing enthusiasts hang out? Like, and are there inside jokes about fishing that like I don't know about that's maybe not on a shirt? I'm going to try to basically insert myself into the niche, understand who these people are, what they value, what they find funny, so that then when I'm coming in with products, they make sense based on that niche, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's AJ. Here he comes with the shirt ideas.
And it's funny. There's a lot of like X-rated, R-rated, boundary pushing things about fishing out there, and you'll see that it takes no time to find them. They're everywhere. But yeah, I mean, to Dee's point, like the only way to figure out if where or how to sell to a customer and have them kind of resonate with your stuff is to know the lingo, the nuances, the idioms, the little the wording they use all the time. And I've said this before and I'll say it again, but like this specific example for fishing, instead of saying good luck, we say tight lines. Some friends and I and a lot of other fisher persons as well. It's kind of like break a leg if you're on stage, that sort of thing. So these are things that not necessarily everybody would know, but and also things that not necessarily somebody buying for a fisherman would know or a fisher person would know, but it's definitely something that that person would absolutely know. So it's that kind of, some of those like the insider lingo, that sort of thing, it kind of lends itself to a little more validity, right? It makes people believe that you know what you're talking about and who you're selling to, right?
Yeah, and you're part of the same niche, that you're the same as them.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like that social proof in a way, right? Like it's validating. I mean, people need to know that you know who you're talking to or what you're trying to sell them or whatever, right? And people want to resonate with people that are like genuine. So they don't want to be buying from fakes, I guess. And then
no, and I think sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna go into the question. I think this applies to branding. I'm sorry. Good. So I think this is a good one right here. And I think it relates to branding a lot, right? To when it comes to getting repeat customers. What's the biggest factor to have a repeat buyer for a POD product on Etsy?
I think there is no biggest factor when you think about it in terms of the brand, right? Because if you're looking at your store as an extension of like, or as a collector for a certain target audience, basically your customer service, the products in your store, the way that you write it, your titles, your descriptions, your listings, the logo colors you've chosen, all of that stuff goes into the full customer experience, right? So in terms of like there being a biggest factor, I feel like all of those things build on one another. And that's why you're seeing certain brands like come out of nowhere. They've hit the nail on the head with all of that stuff. And then all of a sudden they're skyrocketing in terms of growth because instantly to the consumer, those like they know what it's about. There's no confusion about like, what is this store here for? Like, what does it do? What does it specialize in? And who are the products for? Right. Like, so, when it comes to like the factors, it is a lot of customer service, right? Like, how you speak to your customers, how you engage with them, what happens when there's a problem, all of that kind of stuff. But I would argue that customer service on top of that is influenced by how these people engage or interact online anyway, right? So like if you're talking to a bunch of like sweary moms, for instance, and you drop a couple F-bombs in your shop or like on your descriptions or like your thank yous like a little more edgy, obviously that's not going to upset that audience, right? But if you're talking to a bunch of church moms who don't swear, completely different customer experience getting the same email, right?
Yeah, I think like a major factor though in having them come back. So like all those things that, that overarching, the look, the brand, the feel, the messaging, those are the things that get people into your shop to buy and have that customer experience. But I think the bottom line though is if that product sucks, they're never coming back.
Well, so, I don't know, because sometimes you see this. So like we actually did this study this one time about storytelling for marketing, okay? And the experiment was this. It was people would go around to thrift stores and find things for like $1 that were like horrifically ugly, and then they would make a story up about that product and see how much value they could drive on like a bid, like on an eBay site or something like that around that product. Right. So the product itself, it sucks. It's probably worth like a penny.
No, but I meant like, I know where you're going with this, but I meant like if the, you know, the clothing, the garment you're using falls apart, or it's like low quality garbage, right? Like if they're happy with the product at the end of the day, that's the clincher. They're going to go back, whether or not it cost $1, a piece of junk, essentially, as long as it's, you know, something that's not falling apart. But yeah,
I think adding to that,
with your thing there, I was interested. That was interesting.
Adding to that too, I think is like one of the biggest things. I think is just making them remember, right? I think it's one of the most important things. Is like if you make them remember, and I found this interesting because I took an Uber drive. I took an Uber the other day, right? And I was like, and he's a nice, sweet Mexican guy, right? And he was awesome. He was like I felt like he loved me when I got in his car. And that what made me remember, right? But I was like, you know what? Like, how come you don't? Because he had this plastic thing because of everything with the COVID-19. Like, I feel like I was in the back of a cop car. Like, I don't know what that really feels like, but I felt like I was in the back of a cop car, and it said, I was like, if you wrote something on here, like, if it smells good, leave me a tip. You know what I mean? To help them remember, like, if it smelled good in the car, leave a tip, right? And I was thinking, like, that would be something to think about as the next person comes into the car. It smells good, I'm gonna leave that guy a tip. Or take a piece of gum, right? And if you take a piece of gum, don't forget to leave a tip. Something like that, something that's catchy and that will help them remember in a way to come back again.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point. Like, I feel like the thing is, so like, I feel like right now it might be a little like above some people's heads. So I just kind of want to bring this back down to like a more reasonable kind of like beginner-esque, maybe like intermediate level. Okay. So when we're talking about branding, we're talking about the things that first attract. Oh, sorry. Finish the story first. So basically what happened was these dollar items that were being found at thrift shops were sometimes going for upwards of $500 and $700 when put up on like an eBay site with an explanation, like an interesting story about the item itself, whether it was about the owner or about what, like how many different owners the item had once had. And it was all like made up, like, clearly they had just gone to these thrift stores. These weren't like antiques. These weren't expensive things. You know, they'd just gone to these thrift stores and they just written interesting stories about like what the items looked like, who might have owned them before, what kind of life they'd had, and, you know, like kind of tugged on the heartstrings with those stories. And so as this relates to, you know, what's the biggest factor to having a repeat buyer in any shop, not just with a POD shop, in any shop that you're running, is it's how effectively you're able to basically resonate or relate to that audience, right? So when we're talking about like these weird little thrift store items that were worth essentially nothing and we're selling for like $500, $600, $700, how did the customer, like how did the seller do that? Well, through that story that they created, right? They gave the person on the other end of the screen who was trying to add that to cart an experience. They made them feel something, and they kind of tugged on some of those emotions, right? Like to make the product seem relatable or like necessary. It's a one of a kind, you know? And so all of those kinds of things are things that you have to be thinking about when you're trying to generate those repeat buyers. And it's a great question because I see this a lot. What sellers will try to do is they'll come out into the marketplace with a unique product, let's say, okay? They'll have those initial sales on that unique product, and they'll start kind of like adding things in the same vein, but they're at some point struggling to get those repeat customers through the door. And so what they start to do in that scenario is they start to discount their products because they're thinking, well, maybe if I'm running a sale all the time, more people will buy. And then basically because the sale kind of ramps it up, but then like it drops down again because there's no real hook to reel in the rest of the customers or to remind those customers to come back and hang out with you. They just kind of eventually evolve into this place where everything is on sale all the time, right? And so in a sense, they're diluting their own brand, right? Whereas if you're thinking about your brand as kind of like a magnet, like you're the giant magnet and you're trying to attract all of these magnets to you as the brand owner, like you have to be putting out feelers and you have to be putting out reminders and you have to be like consistently building a community in some way in order to get those repeat shoppers, right? Yeah. So like even on Etsy, there's like 1 million plus stores on Etsy, right? So somebody shops from you one time on Etsy, what's going to make them come back? Well, they're going to see something in social media. They're going to see a friend who maybe bought that thing or is posting about it. Or maybe you invited them to a newsletter and you're going to send them in a newsletter saying, oh, hey, you had this in your cart. Like, look how awesome this is. Do you know what I mean? But you have to be doing something, like you have to be putting out something to stay top of mind with those customers. Otherwise, the next time they're shopping on Etsy, they might not even remember that like they bought from you specifically and just type in the search terms and go to a completely different seller.
So that's all also to add into that is like, that's why I feel like you have to make them remember, right? And it's like because you can type in keywords, right? And then, but if they type in keywords and then they go find something else and then they're like, oh, just go to Etsy. Like, no, go to Lucky Lacey's boutique or something like that. And she has everything. I'm not sure what she has, but she has everything. And just go back there. They have really good products, right? So like the emotion, right? It can be several different factors, right? It can be the customer service, really awesome customer service, and they treated me like a human being. Or it can be the product and I felt it and it was really amazing and it lasted a long time. Like what's the definition of like an emotion that triggers that, right? It's like something of that nature. I'm guessing.
Well,
so
kinds, right? You can be proud to be a part of a community. You can feel happy. And you know, maybe you're depressed or something, but you just need some kind of validation saying it's okay to be sad today. Right? Maybe you just want to, you know, there's comfort in numbers, right? Knowing that you're not going, even if it's a struggle, knowing that you're not going it alone, right? And that you have support or a community, or maybe there's other like-minded people out there with you that can help build you up or whatever, right? So even doing that through an Etsy shop, like not everybody's happy all the time, and people want to sometimes just wear that on their shirt so that they don't have to talk to anybody if they do have to go out, right? So,
well, and I'd argue that's largely what's normally behind the success of those kinds of viral, funny products, like the shirts that say, let me overthink about it or whatever, right? Because that is an anxiety type of behavior, the overthinking and the questioning and the asking a million questions, right? So it's like, the better, like the idea is the better that you can attract a community or create a community, the better time you'll have of selling to that community, right? Like provided that you're giving them what they want. And I think the best brands in the world, you know, they basically galvanize small communities. So like if we look at some of the ones like Tom's Shoes, for instance, right? Like Tom's Shoes came out of nowhere doing nothing to like all of a sudden being a huge company. And why? Because for every pair of shoes you bought, they gave a pair of shoes to somebody else who needed it, right? Yeah. Also, they were eco-friendly. Also, you know, they were trying to have sustainable manufacturing processes. So like that kind of like triple threat in a sense, like they have all these different things that they're doing is appealing to one specific audience. It's an audience that wants to help people. It's an audience that wants to make sure that everybody is paid fairly for their labor. And it's an audience that essentially cares about the planet, right? So where are those people? Like if you're gonna compete with Tom's Shoes, where do you think you're most likely to find people who fit those three criteria? Yeah. Right? It's usually gonna be people who love nature, right? It's gonna be people who also like traditionally probably like animals too, you know? It's gonna be the people that are like signing the petitions on change.org and
activism, right? Yeah.
And that's the thing. And so like when you can understand that, then you can understand that maybe just placing a random photo of a product up on a Pinterest page for moms, if that's the audience that you're trying to get to, is a little bit of a waste of your time. Maybe instead what you should be doing is securing a little ad spot on a change.org petition, or, you know what I mean? Like being in the places where these people are paying attention because they're either donating or like part of the activism crowd for these specific subject areas, right? So this is what I say when it comes down to like branding. You have to be thinking through some of these things before you even start. And that's not to say like you can't be successful if you're not like a branding genius by any stretch of the means, but you just kind of want to be making sure that if you're going to spend so much time working on your products, working on your keywords, working on your research and your shop, that you're doing it in a way that you're working smarter instead of harder, right?
Mhm.
You're doing it in a way that every step that you take in that shop is teaching you something about the audience that is buying from you.
Yeah.
And you want to be doing it in a way that you can easily repeat over and over and over again once you've got the awareness of how you did it the first time.
Mhm. Also, too, if you guys are have any questions at all related to the branding and the avatar, customer avatar, to like ask away, because I know someone's confused and they're scared to ask. It's okay. We love you.
Yeah. So like one of the things I get all the time from new people who've never done an avatar before. So if there's any of you in the audience, let me know if this is you. But they don't understand what the point of it is, right? They're like, I'm supposed to pick one customer. I'm not trying to get one customer. I'm trying to get like hundreds of customers or thousands of customers, or like, you know, so like what, how is this one customer thing going to help me? Right.
I'm supposed to list my product and make tons of money the first day.
Right.
Talking about D. What are you talking about?
But that's the thing. Like lots of people kind of honestly think about online sales in that way. They think, oh, I just do one thing, or like I copy this shop over here and just use a different font, and then like I'm going to be massively successful. And that's not how it works. That's not, those aren't good practices, right? So it's just like people ask, okay, so like how does this one customer avatar really help me with my branding, or really help me understand, you know, how to get in front of all of the customers that I'm trying to reach? And I think once you've actually determined, like if you think about your customer avatar as almost like a friend of yours, right? Like you can describe that person, you know what they like, you know what they hate, you know what they get angry about, or what makes them sad.
And I think that's a really good place to start, right? Because anytime you're looking for that ideal customer, it's easier to start with something or some, you know, interest that you have yourself, right? So then it becomes easier to kind of like envision a friend, an imaginary friend, and what they would want, right? Because you're going to already share a lot of the same interests. So
yeah, and that's the thing. So it's like once you have that basic awareness of like those character traits down, then it's a lot easier for you to understand. So like if you're buying a gift for your friend, you know that like if your friend's a vegan, you're not going to buy her a lasagna that's full of meat, right? Like it just doesn't make sense. And it's the same as like, oh, so maybe your friend's super loves dogs, like loves dogs. You're not going to buy anything that like showcases the Yulin Dog Festival in China. You know what I mean? Like when you're giving that person a gift, or you're not going to buy that person a shirt that says, I love cats, right? Like they're a dog lover. They're not a cat lover. Like it just doesn't make sense. And so in the similar way that we're talking about like buying a gift for a friend, if you're thinking about your customer avatar as really like one person that represents the group. So like, you know, the group of all of the buyers that you could ever want in your life that you're trying to target with your stuff, there's one representative who speaks for them all. And if you can figure that representative out, then all of those people are going to be like, yeah, I'm coming over there too.
you're
right?
going to listen. Yep.
That's the thing. That is what you're trying to do with a customer avatar. You're trying to figure out what is the most likely and easiest path to attracting that one representative. Because once you've attracted that one person, they have friends, there's other people who are just like them, part of the same communities, part of the same groups, and interested in the same things that will also be attracted.
And they're going to be your loudest, you know, advocates, right? They're going to be like proud to show off where they got what they got from, what shop it was. They're going to be in the Facebook groups or posting on Facebook saying, look what I got this really awesome shirt or whatever it was somewhere. And they'll tag the shop. They'll do that. They'll share. People will ask. And then, that's just on their individual profiles and stuff like that, right? If they happen to have sometimes you hit a gold mine. You get that one person who does all the Instagram self-modeling stuff, right? Like that, I don't even know what you call it, but not even like an influencer, but just somebody who's got a following, who's out there all the time doing all that stuff,
Well,
right?
And there's been so many shops that literally start that way, right? Like they get traction that way. Like they just hit the nail on the head with one customer group, and then an influencer sees it, picks it up, and shares it with the audience, and then all of a sudden, that shop went from making maybe 5 sales a week to like 10 sales a day.
No, also too, make sure you guys give this video a thumbs up, as Jay said. RJ, I'm an Instagram model, so I've been doing squats, so got that booty, baby. I'm just kidding. But here's so repeat customers are going to come back knowing you offer free postage and discounts, don't you think?
Well, these are the questions that basically have the depends answers, okay?
Yeah.
So not every customer who's out there in the marketplace is looking for a discount or free shipping. That's the reality of the situation. For instance, somebody who's looking to buy a bespoke, handcrafted, live edge table that somebody's epoxy art poured on top of and made not a river table, but a very one-of-a-kind unique piece. That person's probably willing to spend upwards of $3,000 and $4,000 and $5,000 to have that table because it means something to them personally. That person doesn't give a crap if that table is going on sale, or if you're going to ship it for free, really, because they would buy it either way, right? So if that's the kind of customer you're targeting, or if you're targeting a higher end kind of boutique-esque customer, then sure, everybody kind of likes a discount, but it's not the thing that makes or breaks the sale. Now, if you're targeting those coupon shoppers, those people that like literally cut the coupons, collect them, like want to save all that they can, then absolutely, like those consistent discounts going on in your store, and maybe the ability to combine a certain dollar value of an order with free shipping after those discounts are going to create some repeat customers for you. But this is what the whole point of a customer avatar is you're trying to figure out, am I targeting these coupon friendly, free shipping loving, like discount loving customers, or am I over here targeting like a refined audience? Because I'll put it this way. If we look at Tiffany & Company as the jewelry store, right? Nothing is on sale there ever. Like it's not on sale. They don't run sales and coupons and discount codes because they're targeting people who have crap tons of money. So like the whole point of the Tiffany ring isn't how much you paid for it. It's the status that it's Tiffany, right?
I think the free postage and all the discounts and everything being on sale, I think that could be a clincher sometimes in a general store or, somewhere where you wouldn't normally get the same person through your doors twice. It might entice them to come back if you got some, buy 3, get 1 free or something. But if you're targeting like a niche with, a customer and exactly what they want, I don't look for a discount to go back to a store that offers absolutely everything I'm interested in, right? I know I'm going to go there. If it's on sale, bonus. If it's not, I'm still going to buy it. Like that's the end of the bottom line for me of that, if it's the store I'm proud to be shopping at or enjoy shopping at, right? So I don't think that, just offering the free shipping and discounts is going to get the right return customer, I guess.
Yeah, it just kind of depends on what your niche is, right? Because like some people are, maybe bringing in their own shirts from other places, and those shirts are, really inexpensive. Like maybe they're paying $2 and $3 a blank. So when they sell it for $15 and it's a sale, you know what I mean, down from its regular price of 20 or something like that, they're still making enough profit that strategy will work for them. It's just, to your point, obviously, like if you really identify with a brand or with a message or a design, it doesn't really matter how much of a discount or whether it comes with free shipping. Like you're going to buy it, you're going to love it, you're going to rock it, and you're going to feel good doing it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure as hell not going to want to be the 10th one of my friends to get the shirt. I want to be the first one, right? So
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
not going to wait for a sale or whatever, right? Yeah. Oh, we got more questions in there somewhere.
Yeah, we got some more comments in here. I'm going through them right now.
Renee, I see Renee had a funny comment there at 747. So it's about buying things that for people that don't like certain things. Ex-mother-in-law bought me a cat sweater after I told her I hated cats, hence the ex-mother-in-law. Yeah, so yeah, you definitely want to be targeting the right customer, right?
What time does a live session start Monday? Thanks
So
for the
6 a.m. PST, 9 a.m. EST.
Yeah, so they're talking about the Etsy challenge right here. If you guys are unaware of that, I dropped the link right there. If you guys are unaware, if you guys are barely just tuning in, make sure you guys give this video a thumbs up and then check out the Etsy challenge down below. It's going to be starting Monday, closes tomorrow. The cart closes tomorrow. Yeah.
Tomorrow night at midnight. Yeah. 9 a.m. Eastern Standard, 6 Pacific Standard. William says, if your products speak to that person, shipping will not matter, in my opinion. And I couldn't concur more. I offer free shipping in one shop, but it's a very niched, and it's also novelty. However, in another shop, I don't offer free. Either of my other shops, I don't offer free shipping. One is a general store, and one is a niche store that I share with Dion, and it's people go there. Sales pick up a little bit if you put a little bit of a sale on. Sometimes it's a way to kind of spur sales if they're getting stagnant or something or slowing down. Mm-hmm. But they're always limited, and they're always very short. It's not like an ongoing thing. But no free shipping in 2 out of 3 shops, and people don't care. People pay for it, right? It's amazing what, if you resonate with the customer, they're not going to wait for a sale or free shipping.
Mm-hmm.
I'm currently thinking to do high level branding, but with licensing my designs. Do you guys have any advice on doing this on Etsy? Do those customers even exist on Etsy for such products?
So I think it kind of depends on the product that you're selling. Like if you're selling SVGs, like scalable vector graphics on an Etsy shop, for instance, right? Obviously you can brand them, but you're going to want to be selling to a wide swath of audiences, like a wide swath of niches. So it is a general store in that sense. Having a variety of different designs for each of the categories that you originally intend to target, right? If you're selling something else, if you're trying to, I don't know, it's kind of a toss up, because you'll always get the sales from the people who have their own Cricut machines or whatever, run a little local thing. You're always going to have people buying a scalable vector from places on Etsy for those purposes. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you'll get shop owners that buy that scalable vector graphic to put on shirts in their shop. The thing is, it's just I'll put it this way. If you're going to be doing that on Etsy, I don't necessarily think it follows a brand, right? Because there's so many other sellers in the marketplace with the scalable vector graphics that unless you're specifically hitting one niche and it's very unique styles for your design, I feel like you're probably almost just better off pulling the Walmart strategy where you're spending time putting up a bunch of different things for a bunch of different niches and just seeing where you get the hits, right? Because we look at places like Creative Market, we look at places like Envato Market, all of those places that sell those t-shirt designs that you can purchase, you know what I mean? Sure, they're brands, but what you get there is a variety of everything, right?
So kind of in this sense, it makes sense just to be the vector shop, right? In a way. And not more.
Go big or go home. If you're going to do it on Etsy, go big for sure. And offer whatever you can. And you can, in that sense, you can leverage sales all the time, bundle it all, do that sort of thing. I mean, ultimately the work is done, right? So it's up to you how you want to sell it. It's better to sell 200 at $2 a pop than 50 of them at or 10 of them at $10 a pop, right? So I don't know, just getting the sales volume going. I think you can build a lot of momentum on Etsy that way. There's a ton of people, especially now, people at home all summer or through the pandemic and that sort of thing. A lot more people are getting into the crafting thing. So I like the idea of pivoting not only just to sell your graphics, but to sell to other sellers, right?
Yeah, and she said here at 7:52. I don't know if you highlighted that comment yet, RJ, but she said, I've had high-end companies reach out to me to license, but they found me on Creative Market. I'm looking to expand this to Etsy, though. I'm not sure if these clients exist. I do mainly in illustrations and textile designs for fabric, jewelry, tabletop, and home decor. So I honestly, in my opinion, my humble opinion, I don't necessarily think that Etsy is the natural next step for you. If you're already on Creative Market, I would say the natural next step for you is probably getting a Behance presence up, because that's where people find higher end graphic designers, is reaching out to people who work with Spoonflower, because you get, or like putting some of your designs up there if you're doing fabrics and things, and making the royalties off of every time Spoonflower sells that fabric. And then like kind of building out your awareness or your brand that way. Because I think, you know, in a sense, it kind of could start to water down your brand a little bit if you're already kind of on this upward trend where brands are paying attention to you and wanting to work with you. If you're then also selling over here, like SVGs that are obviously yours because of either the style of the things that you're doing, or, you know, because of the branding being identical, I think it's just kind of, it seems like a step backwards instead of a step forward. Because to be perfectly honest, if you're good at fabric design, like there are people who are making their entire income off of selling on Spoonflower. Okay. Like they're throwing up a whole variety of new designs, like every single day. They're kind of treating it like merch, right? Where like it's like merch, but it's for fabric in a sense, where ultimately you upload the design, Spoonflower prints it, and when it sells, they give you a commission. And depending on what you've priced that fabric at or whatever, that commission can be different, right? So it's like, I say focus on like some passive or some things that can become a little bit more passive that way, while also focusing on, you know, actually getting contracts with some of those bigger brands.
I also just, I don't know, like, so Etsy is like a big, that's a big search volume. Like there's a big search for SVG or SVG. Yeah. Right. Correct. On Etsy, there's a big search volume for that keyword. Right. And I think there's a high demand market for it on Etsy. I'm looking at some of her stuff on Behance and creative design.
Even Anthony earlier today was saying that from eRank, right? He's saying SVG. This year we've just seen like that keyword get spike because to what I was saying earlier, like people are at home and doing that sort of thing over and over. But I also think that if you were going to have a presence on Etsy, it would be probably wise then, if you're getting solicited from other businesses, to probably stick, not try to be everything to everyone at that point. Like keep your branding cohesive and kind of stay with the higher end client if you're getting solicited that way. That makes sense. What else we got? I'm also on Rebel making. I've stayed away from. Okay, so she's stayed away from Spoonflower and Roostery since there's many people who complain about their designs being stolen and the royalties being super low. Okay, I unfortunately I am not familiar, but I don't know if D sells on Spoonflower or not. But I think you're muted, D, by the way.
Okay.
So I used to sell on Spoonflower. The royalties are low. Like, I'm not saying you're going to make $5 per swath of fabric that somebody purchases, but like like way back when Spoonflower first started, I was designing actually my own fabric to use in my own shops at Spoonflower, right? So basically what I would do is I would design that fabric, and then because it had my brand logo or my brand name on it, I would also allow other people to purchase that fabric and make their own items, right? So in a way, like if other shops loved my fabric, it was kind of like a way of instantly connecting myself to whatever that person was doing, because it was edgier, kind of cooler, hipper stuff. Now, this is like way back in the day when all of that was first starting. And then, you know, I was still working on my own brand. So like I wasn't really focusing on becoming a fabric designer per se, right? So fast forward a few years, I come back into Spoonflower to like order some different fabrics. And I'm seeing all of these designers who have maybe like 10,000, 15,000 different designs on there. And then I'm like following those people because like inside of Spoonflower, they made it so that like you can click on the person, and if they put a blog there or something like that, you can kind of see like what they're doing. So some of those people have these blogs where they're basically showing you the screenshots of their royalty payment accounts, and they're making, you know, $6,000, $8,000, $10,000 a month off of those royalties from Spoonflower because their fabrics are so popular, right, amongst the Spoonflower shoppers. So it's like, it just kind of depends on what you want to do, like what your strategy is for your specific business, right? Like I really do understand that, yeah, like absolutely, people do try to copy. It's going to be on every single platform that you ever sell on, period. People will try to copy, okay? You can't kind of limit your own success being worried about the people that are going to copy you, because the thing about copycats is they can't keep up. You're the one that's coming up with the innovative designs. You're the one that's got that special something, and you're always going to be like 10 steps ahead of them, right? Like you're always going to be seen as first in the market for whatever it is that you're doing amongst your own customers. And if you grow big enough, like some of those customers of yours will galvanize around the copycats, being like, oh, the original of this design is at this shop. Do you know what I mean? Like in the comments, when those copiers try to kind of piggyback off of your brand. So when you think about things that way, like it all always comes back to what you're trying to do with your stores and your brands, like what your goal is. Is your goal to eventually be the graphic designer that makes all of the fabrics for, you know, a huge design company? Or is your goal to be making like somewhat passive income online so that, you know, basically you can spend 6 months out of the year designing and 6 months out of the year hanging out? You know, it all depends on that.
Yeah, and I saw your other comment too about maybe you should start offering the fabric, selling the fabric. I mean, there's an option there. You can definitely do that too. I was talking to somebody a couple of days ago who she's also taken the challenge with us previously, and she pivoted when masks became a thing and was making her own masks and had her own custom fabric and stuff. And she was crushing it, but it got to a point where she couldn't, you know, she was like 3 months behind in orders, couldn't keep up with the actual making. So she just went next level and decided, why don't I just sell the fabric to the people who want to make the masks and make the other things? And that became a lot easier. It was a lot easier to manage. You're buying by like yards at this point instead of like the one-off mask or two pack or whatever. So like things like that are absolutely, I mean, why not try it, right? Like it's an easy, I think selling custom.
There's such a market for that, like especially this year, right? Like with 2020 and this pandemic and people having new hobbies that they're getting back into or like learning about at home, like all these handmade things, I think that's going to be a big trend as we get into Q4, like handmade gifts and things like that, because I think, you know, there's a lot more people that are into that kind of stuff now. So like there's a lot more demand for fabric than there might have even been a couple of years ago just for that reason. Other things, did we actually hit Renee's comment where she says one of my shops?
No, where we at?
Too.
Yeah. No. We'll get. Yeah. Okay, I see it right here. No, but I like how you like how we just like we kind of transition a little bit. How it's like it's really up to her, right? And the opportunities there. There's opportunities on Etsy for her to sell SVG files and stuff like that, right? I could see her creative marketing and her Behance and all that stuff. You have really amazing work, right? And you just I think your issue here is just finding your audience and finding who you're targeting and stuff like that. So, and you said you're barely making any sales and stuff, and that's normal because I think once you figure out like your target audience, and this is perfect for this example, like once you figure that out, it's like literally, okay, you're making all these sales on Etsy and stuff like that. But do you want to go the Etsy route, or do you want to work with brands like Dee said? And there's so many options because you understand like you're the content creator, right? You create this stuff and you're making this stuff and you're creating so much opportunity for yourself. And I think that's really amazing. And you have the talent. I'm looking at your stuff. It's this talent that's like no one can compare to that. You're your own brand. You know what I mean? At that point. So it's really cool, really awesome. So Renee.
So she says, in one of my shops, my niche is people who are redecorating or moving into new homes. Is that really a niche since all of those people can be so different? I'm selling higher priced, higher end home decor. Okay, so I'm just gonna like parse this apart into two different pieces. Okay, so in one of my shops, my niche is people who are redecorating or moving into new homes. Okay, so those are two very different customers right off the bat. Okay, so people who are redecorating their existing home and people who are moving into a completely new home, maybe in a different area or a bigger home or a smaller home, they're downsizing. They have very different viewpoints and very different desires, depending on, exactly what they're doing, where they're moving, why they're moving, all of that kind of stuff. Okay. And so I would argue that like people moving in and out of homes is not really a niche, or people redecorating is not really a niche. Like it's a definition. It's like part of how you would define a target audience, right?
Yeah.
Like, or what people in that target audience are in the market for right now. But I think your next part of this question actually shows you who, or gives you a better idea of a niche in a sense, right? So, or more like a better idea of your ideal customer, I want to say. So you say I'm selling higher priced, higher end home decor. Okay, so right there is your indicator. People who are going to shop higher end, higher priced home decor, usually not people that are in starter homes, usually are not people that don't have a healthy amount of income, usually are people with more refined tastes, right? And so you can really start to build out or like drill down into what your niche is from there. So depending on the kind of home decor that you're selling, like maybe I don't know exactly what you sell, right? Like maybe you're selling really high-end throw blankets or something like that, right? Or, real wood, like cutting boards, or, things that like handcrafted stuff. If that's who your audience is, there are already going to be hallmarks based on your best sellers, right? So like if it is that kind of bespoke, handcrafted, like kitchen type stuff, and it's like wood, right? Like you're not making this out of resin. It's very like earthy and, live edge-esque. Obviously, so you say mostly pillows. Okay. So obviously that buyer is gonna be an appreciator of nature. That person's probably also going to be socially conscious and like to, do eco-friendly things. They're probably not super into cleaning their house with chemicals. You know what I mean? Like you start to kind of notice, I guess, the larger groups that these people belong to based on the characteristics of the product that you're selling. There's another one here. So you said it's mostly pillows, and where it is mostly pillows, like my next question to you would be, okay, so if these are higher end pillows, like, are they feather filled? Are you having them like knit and printed them somewhere? I'm just trying to understand a little bit more about the design aesthetics, because I think it's not necessarily a niche. So like your home decor is a product category.
Yeah,
right?
I would argue like the niche is like the style of the design on the pillows, right? So like, are they, nature scenes, outdoorsy scenes? Are they gothic? Are they, what type of person do they appeal to? Because like, I feel like somebody who's a high-end customer or whatever, or a high-end spender, isn't necessarily also going to be somebody who's redecorating. They're usually have their people do that, right?
No,
So
this is interesting too,
yeah.
because I think you guys see this as a perfect learning example. As you see how Dee just figured out the customer avatar right in front of you during this live, like it's literally like she was asking herself questions in her head as she was explaining the content. So she was multitasking. She was figuring out here. This is what I'm talking about, how crazy and intelligent D is. She was multitasking and explaining the content at the same time. It's like, how the hell is she doing this? So this is like exactly the perfect example, right? You did it during the live, and that's how you figure out your customer avatar. She literally was asking herself questions and answering them at the same time, and then explaining the content to you guys. So it's really cool. And this is exactly how you figure out your customer avatar.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like, especially if you're already selling and you've got a few sales already, like success leaves clues, and you will, like, people who were in this with me last year, like in the Etsy challenge with me last year, know that I would say that a lot, and it's because it's true. The things that are selling for you will give you clues about the kinds of customers that are interested in your products. And to me, it's always like smartest and least hanging fruit in order to, or sorry, lowest hanging fruit, right? To go in the direction that the sales are already happening, and like make companion products or other kind of niches that like blend in with those products that are already selling, right? So the idea is to kind of, where you are already selling pillows, it's kind of to reverse engineer, well, who is on the other end of this buying these expensive pillows? And, you know, are these people sending you pictures in your reviews on your Etsy shop and whatever? So like, what kinds of houses do they live in? What areas, like if you go back through your data on your Etsy to see, you know, is it mostly New Yorkers, Californians? Like what areas are these people coming out of, you know? And then like, okay, so where else are they hanging out? Where can I put my stuff that maybe all of the people who are in this category are going to see it, right? And that's when you're really defining your ideal customer. And then you can actually like be more influenced by that ideal customer into areas of focus that are niche, right? Yeah. So like maybe if all of your customers, or a good amount of your customers, are coming from warmer climates, so like, you know, Florida, California, that sort of place. And a lot of the things that are selling are like higher end beach themed things. Do you know what I mean? Like that influences, okay, well, what else do people who love life on the beach also like? Maybe they like to surf. Maybe they like to go wind sailing or whatever it is, you know, like skidooing, like all of these other things that you can start to kind of branch out into, but you're still serving that same target audience, right?
Yeah. No, so we're a little bit over an hour out, 12 minutes over an hour. There says, I want to be the same way. I'm a night owl. Where was that first one? It was like something 6 a.m. is killing me. And then Lindsay down here with the comment, wait until you see RJ at 6 a.m. He's so exhausted by the end of the challenge. Poor guy.
We all were last time. Lindsay's got
no.
We looked at like day 1 and day 30 and we're like, man, felt like we aged a bit. Yeah. I know 8 mornings. I don't know what 6 looks like. That's it. I only know what 6 a.m. looks like if I'm going to bed.
No, also to add to Renee's point, it's a new store. I don't have that data. So this is the interesting part too, as well. If this is going to be a challenge for yourself, you need to figure that out, honestly. And there's no way around it. You got to figure that out. Even if you have, like, if you go into the Facebook groups and you know your customer audience already, you can spy on people's Facebook, see what they like, see what they're interested in, see how old they are, right? See where most of these people are from, like Dee said, because on the Facebook profiles, I'm not saying I spy on anybody or anything, but on Facebook profiles, it tells you like how old they are, when's their birthday, what groups they're in, stuff like that. And you can see like similar interest. And then you go find a fan page that they like, and then you can start looking at everyone's comments in there and see what else.
And that's how it is.
I already know you're in the challenge this year. So, you know, girl, you can come ask me these questions when you're going through the boot camp or the copywriting. You know, we'll work it out.
Can you highlight Lindsay's comment there right after the one you just had? Lindsay, I think back to the picture.
Yeah, what's the
in Facebook?
What's the timestamp?
8:14. I think back to the picture I have in my head of my ideal customer all the time. It makes such a difference knowing what will sell and what won't. It's not always what I think would be popular. And that's like, I think that's absolutely crucial, right? Is putting your ego aside, because it's not about what you want to do or sell or think all the time. It's who you're selling to is going to want or think, right? So that's crucial. That's a big thing. Like the romanticism aspect of not letting go. Like, oh, you know, I'm an artist, an illustrator. I can, you know, draw and all that stuff. And all I ever wanted to do was like airbrush shirts or put my own stuff on. I was like, oh, awesome. I can do this now and it'll sell. And then crickets, right? There has to be a compromise. You have to know who you're selling to. My 3 friends thought it was badass and awesome stuff. But, you know, it turns out that 100,000 people out there didn't think so, right? So you have to, like, you know, you got to put your ego aside. And it was heartbreaking for a minute. But, you know, like, man, like, nobody likes this stuff. And then it turns out I was like trying to throw it on a shirt where it would have been way better frame somewhere. I've sold a few frame that I could never sell on a shirt. So it's like, you know, you got to figure out the product, the customer and all that, and put yourself in check, right? Like it's all about the ideal customer and not yourself. So it's good. It's a great realization.
Yeah. So, yeah, guys, I think, we're coming up on it right there. Like we can go on for days. I think we can go on another hour, but we're not going to do that.
30-day challenge is for.
Yeah. No, this is a good conversation. This is an awesome conversation because we all have different point of views, and we all respect each other's point of view too as well. So this is why the conversation can go on for an hour and 15 minutes, and it feels like 20 minutes. So yeah. So let's.
What does AFK mean, Tina? She's saying that she's thinking of signing up to keep herself focused, but going to be AFK. Is that absent or something Tuesday and Wednesday? But yeah. The replay will be live in there for the duration of the challenge, so you'll be able to catch up, check that out, and you also have weekends.
Yeah. That's a solid point right there too. Okay, just 2 minutes real fast, or 1 minute. Yeah, this is a solid point. This is why we created this Monday through Fridays with the weekends off the weekends to catch up, right? So if you're taking Tuesday and Wednesday off, you have Saturday and Sunday to catch up, right? So let's say you have, you know, things happen in life, right? Or whatever, like, you know what I mean? Or you have to take care of your job. You have to go to your job and stuff like that, or it's whatever it is. You have Saturday and Sunday to catch up on the content. And plus the replays are going to be there all day. So if you want to do 2 of the lives in one day, you're more than, or not 2 of the lives, but 1 replay and 1 live in one day, you can do that too as well. Yeah. So guys, I'm going to go, oh, not that one. Okay, dang it. Post the Etsy challenge right there. The link is right there. If you guys haven't signed up, Tina, if you're on the fence, just do it. Just sign up and everything's going to be there. We're going to over deliver. This is what we're known for in the community. We over deliver, provide the value. We make a relationship with everyone, make sure everyone's taken care of, and just over deliver. And we're there. I'm easy to make fun of. You can't get nothing better than that. We're all smart in our own way. And then we all respect each other's opinions and stuff like that. We got different point of views. There's a ton of stuff that we're going to be going over. Let me break it down to you. 1 second. Let me scroll down real fast on this Etsy challenge page. You get 30 days. Huh?
There's so much stuff. And we got this too.
There's 30 days of live training Monday through Friday with the weekends off. So if you're going to take Tuesday and Wednesday off, you have the weekends to catch up. Exclusive content and business strategy, branding and marketing assistance, opportunity to have your Etsy shop reviewed privately. So bonus 1 is going to be private Facebook group. Bonus 2 is going to be branding webinar. Bonus 3 is going to be influence marketing and mini crash course. Bonus 4, research webinar. Bonus 5, ideal customer boot camp course, 3-day training course. Bonus 6, I think it is, 5-day newbie course to get you warmed up for the pre-challenge. And bonus 7, AMA, ask me anything once a week as we progress. And then the last bonus, private 30-day access to 3 experts in ecom. We have those 3 experts are RJ, hello, and then we got D, and then we got J.
Yeah, so it's gonna be an interesting time this year for sure. We've redone a bunch of the bonuses because, like, one of the questions we got from some people who took it last year were like, "Oh, are the bonuses going to be the same?" No, we've redone the bonuses to make them even better. So you're going to miss out. Just saying, if you're not in there. And the community itself is actually like really awesome. Like it's a powerful community of people who are working, who are like-minded, who are excited to see you win, and who are there to help you figure stuff out if certain things are confusing or you're feeling overwhelmed or you just have simple questions that you can't seem to find the answers to, right? So I think it's going to be awesome again this year. I think we're going to have so much fun. The people who know prizes are going to have so much fun. I'm going to be tired, but it's okay. It's going to be a fun time all the way around.
I'm excited to get going on this. Like, I can't wait for Monday. It's just nice to be in there on that schedule again, and then I don't know. Yeah, looking forward to getting into it, right? Like all this hype and stuff. I'm like, come on, let's just start, right?
There's a couple questions in here about the bonuses. Are all the bonuses are gone?
Okay, so we had some disappearing bonuses from before. Those were not the bonuses that are on the list that RJ just read. The bonuses on the list that RJ just read come with the course regardless. We had some other bonuses like the Q4 hot list. I think there was the email template setup, and what else was there?
It was sourcing local printers and
So those 3 bonuses have disappeared as of last night. Like, you had to purchase before 11:59 PST last night in order to get those extra bonuses. Okay, and so that being said, I hope that helps to clarify. But the bonuses that are read as part of that massive list, you just get those as part of being in the Etsy challenge.
It's okay, guys. I got
opportunity to win. What do we got left here that hasn't disappeared? You still have an opportunity to win a cricket or cricket, however you pronounce it. 1 hour coaching call, your choice of coach. 1 year Ready Aim Scale membership, which is a private community off of Etsy or off of Facebook. Sorry, that we that community kind of transcends platforms. It's not just Etsy. It's like there's Amazon, Shopify, KDP, all but whatever you want to get into over there. There's also a year free eRank Pro subscription, 1 Etsy crash course that D and I co-wrote a little while ago and have updated. And altogether, the entire bonus package that we were offering the opportunity to win is over like $3,400-$3,500 worth of stuff. So pretty incredible.
Also, I don't I get confused too, guys. So like you see like all the bonuses, and I'm just like in the back working and doing stuff, and the next I was like, okay, so we're adding prizes too. Like, okay, dang, wait up. I'm barely figuring out the bonus. Now there's prizes coming. So like I get confused too, guys. So it's normal. If you're already signed up, can we sign up for the bonuses now? I only signed up for the last bonus. No. So if you already signed up and you missed the opportunity, sorry, Renee. If you didn't get in ahead before that time, there's no going back. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah, you got to get in on it, but you still got a ton of stuff. Like this is still easily like I don't know, $1,000 probably, right? So,
boom. Okay, so
I just want to add that it is a ton of stuff, and you're not going to be able to get through even just the regular bonuses that come with the Etsy challenge in the 30 days, which is why you get those to keep. Okay, so trust me, you'll be good. You'll be fine.
Okay. No, Tina just signed up, so good job, thank you, and we'll see you on the other side. We'll see you Monday. We'll be here tomorrow, but we'll see you Monday. So, all right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and we're done right there. Okay, we'll go ahead and right there. We'll be on a live again tomorrow. We're probably gonna knock out 2 lives, maybe. I don't know. We'll see how we feel, but everyone have an awesome night, and bye, guys. Thank you.